and she has the team members here. So let me introduce our chairman here. So Dr. Ting, our chairman is IR Wong Leong Tek. He is our current ASEAN Sarawak chairman. In this forums, we have this IR Tom Chong as well. IR Tom Chong is our committee from ASEAN Sarawak branch. He is also the past chairman for this branch. So me, you guys know, huh? So we can start now. Pass the mic to Dr. Ting.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I will introduce my team also. We have actually on our team 4 members, Dr. Lee, and she is actually helping to set up the survey questionnaire and all that. And also Faiz, who is our master student, he is the one who carry out the survey work, and all that. So, and then we also have surveyor Gui. He is actually taking his booster shot this morning, so he cannot join us. But otherwise, we are actually all here. And what happened is we have already done our first presentation based on the preliminary data a few months ago. And today is the final presentation because we have closed the survey already with 174 ECP. And we've gone through the analysis all over again and then find some correlation between the data and all that. So I think today's presentation will be quite complete, and anything else after this will be report writing. And after the presentation, if you need us to put anything in the report that you think we missed, please say so, and then we will add it in as well. Yeah. So that will be like hopefully by this month we will settle the report for you all as well. Yeah. And so that will be the timeline. So maybe I will pass the presentation over to Faiz to show us the slides and the data and all that. And this meeting will be recorded at the moment, yeah.
Hello, good morning, everybody.
Share your screen, yep.
Share my screen.
Maybe we can off our video because when Faiz doing presentation, sometimes the line can be slow if we on our video, yeah. Faiz, you can proceed, Faiz. Thank you.
Okay. So hello, good morning all. So this is a study of payment procedures and issues for ECP as at 174 responses. Okay, this is conducted using a survey, questionnaire survey. Okay, basically there's 4 sections in total. Section A is on the respondent information, followed by the awareness of respondent on the existing payment condition. Section C is on current payment practices. And the last one is on the satisfaction level of the consultant and also improvement that they have been suggested. Okay, we move on to the first section is on the respondent info. Okay, this is the summary of this information, background of the respondent. Okay, so most of them we can see they are the directors, okay, with more than 15 years experience in this field. Okay, the background is mostly a civil engineer. Okay, this is the number of staff in the company. So most of them is ranging from 11 to 20 staff in the company. Okay, the next one is involvement of this consultant in the government link project and also the private project. So most of them you can see here they are involving in this government, followed by the GLC, and also some of them is doing the private project. The involvement basically during the managing the project, okay, which is a project management, and also during the design stage. So based on this respondents info, we can see that this respondent in background is well versed in the construction industry, which will lead to the accuracy of this result obtained. Okay, moving to the next section, which is the awareness of respondent on the existing payment condition. So basically this section is to measure the responses awareness on the content of the BEM scale of fees, which is part A. Part A is mostly on the scope of the consultant. Part B is on the scale of fees itself, talking about the man and also stages of payment that it has been set by the BEM. Okay, on the part C is the like reimbursable, okay, like supervisions, and also one of them is modification.
I think he has some problems with his lines. We just hang on a little bit.
Mode of payment for the basic professional services is by the scale of fees or main month. And also they are really aware on the stages of payment, and mode of payment for the additional services, professional services, is by using main month as per scale of fees, the BM. Okay, for the section C, we ask them on their awareness on type of payment allowed under the part C. So basically they are well aware on this. Okay, moving to the next slide. Okay, the mode of payment for other payment. This is for the part C also, such as the using scale of fees, main month or reimburse, something like all the invoices. So they are also aware on this mode of payment for the part C. Okay, so the next one is we ask them on the awareness of the consulting engineer for the payment period for federal project. So based on federal perolehan perunding federal, they define 30 days as the duration for the client to discharge the payment. So based on this result, most of the respondent is aware on that 30 days. However, for the state perolehan, there is not mentioned specifically any duration. So that's why this result shows that most of the respondent is not aware on this. Okay, then we ask them what is the normal duration received from the state government. So most of them indicates that the normal average duration for them to receive the payment is 30 to 90 days, and followed by 90 to 180 days, which is 3 to 6 months. Okay, the last question for this section, we ask the ECP on their experience, which of GLC, government or private, should be following the scale of fees. So most of them indicate that the government should follow the scale of fees. Okay, and the one is on the private sector. Okay, so this is the findings based on the section B. Okay, I can say majority of the consultant in the construction industry are well aware of the content of scale fees. And the next one is most consultants do not know the payment period for State Sarawak project because the payment period is not clearly defined in the State Sarawak consultancy service procurement, leading to the various numbers of payment being made by the client. The next section is section C. This section discuss on the following item, which is first, client adherence to scale of fees. Second, client requesting for discount. Third one is client adherence to stages of payment in scale of fees. Payment issues, there are 3 payment issues we are talking here, which is the late payment, underpayment, and the last one is a non-payment. And what is the action taken by the consultant on these payment issues? And the last one is other issues. There are 4 other issues that we will discuss later on. Okay, we're moving to the first one, is the client adherence to the scale of fees. So based on this previous result, which is which of the sectors that the ECP think that should follow, okay, for the government, they think the 167 should follow, but the actual who follow the scale of fees is only 138. Okay, and the rest 29 is not following the scale of fees. For the GLC, previous section, there are 106 ECPs that they think should follow, but the actual amount who actually follow this scale of fees for GLC project is only 48, and the one who's not following is 58. For the private, of course, the 31 over 33 respondent is not following the scale of fees. So as you can see here, government project, they are following the scale of fees, but for the private and the GLCs, they are not following the scale of fees. So what is the reason on why they are not following? So the first one, the mention is because the client having their own scale of standards, not following, which is not following the scale of fees. Okay, followed by the client opted for lower or discounted fees that will save their own costs. And the last one is client call for tender. This one is basically for government or GLC projects. Okay, this is the continuation link from the previous section here. Okay, the next this section on the requested discount from the client. So the first one is for the government project. Out of 138 government who follow the scale of fees, there are still 33 respondents mentioned that they are following and still requesting for discount. So this red color is requested for discount. Even they are following the scale of fees, the government project, they are following the scale of fees, but still they are looking for discount for this consultant. And the rest 105 is following the scale of fees and not requesting for discount. Okay, for this one, for the next one is the government client. They are not following scale of fees and they also requested for discount. Okay, for the GLC project, 48 responses mentioned that the GLC follow the scale of fees. However, based on this result, 31 of them is not 31 of them still request for the discount from the consultant, even they are following the scale of fees. Okay, for the one who did not follow, 58 of them, the total numbers who are following, who are not following the scale of fees, but still they are looking for discount from the consultant. For the private project, only 2 following the scale of fees, but still they are following, but still they requested for discount. The last one is on the not following, the private sector who is not following, there are 31 not following, and yes, it is still requesting for the discount from the ECP. So basically, we can see here the GLC for GSC and private, this requested request for discount is like the culture for this GLC and private. For government, so far it is okay, but still there are few of them still requested for discount, even they are following the scale of fees. Okay, this is the percentage.
Okay, I just put you hold on it. I want one question to clarify. Now, when you say government, you refer to federal or for the state or both?
Both.
Both.
This one for both, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I proceed. This is the normal percentage of discounted fee request. So the average discount that they're requesting is from 10% to 30%. Okay, and the next section is on the reason on why the consultant always agree with the discount is first is due to the poor job market or no other jobs in hand. And the second one followed by, this is for mainly for government and GLC project. They are afraid of being blacklisted. So this is the major reasons on why this consultant accepting the discounted fees. Okay, the next one is client adherence to stages of payment in the scale of fees. So this result is only for the government and GLCs. Okay, we can assume that these private sectors are not included because majority of them is not following the scale of fees. So out of 90, there are 96% of the government and 96 responses who follow the scale of fees, okay, for government project, and 98 of them is not following. For the GLC one is 75% is they are following the stages of payment, and 62 is not following the stages of payment. So this is because the one who not following is because their client have their own schedule or stages of payment used in the consultancy agreement. So that is the most selected reason on why the client did not follow the scale of fees, the stages of payment in the scale of fees. The next one is on the payment issues. There are 3 payment issues. We are looking here. So first is on the late payment, followed by the underpayment, and the last one is non-payment. So for the late payment, as we can see here, the blue one is yes, they did encounter this late payment, and the red one is never encountered these issues, which is these 3 issues. Okay, based on the result here for the late payment, all of the client, okay, the consultant are having these late payment issues with these 3 clients. Also the same with the underpayment, it is the same. All of these 3 clients be facing the same issues for the consultant on the underpayment, and for other payment only the private client, and they only encounter this non-payment issues for the private client. Government still, there are 61 of them encounter non-payment from the government project. Okay, 52 of the consultant encounter non-payment for this GLC project. You can see here this late payment is underpayment is issues, is a main issues actually for the consultant in the construction industry. Okay, the non-payment.
Questions again. When you say underpayment, what does it mean? You claim 100, it pay 50. Is it what I mean?
Yeah, this is yes, correct. After this, I will show what is this underpayment, the average of this underpayment. You claim, for example, you claim your professional fees is 10,000, they only gave you 8,000, something like that. Okay, so this is average payment delay in terms of duration. So the payment delay, the average numbers is 4 to 6 months delay, which is a quite long time. And this is the average underpayment from the actual payment, submitted. So most of them, 88 responses mentioning that the average payment from the actual payment is 10% to 30%. So this is the one for the underpayment. All right. Moving on to the causes of these payment issues. These are the top three causes contribute to these payment issues. As you can see here, most of them.
Sorry, can I just stop you for? I have another question. So my logic thinking process you can follow through. Now, when you say this payment for underpayment, this thing, so have you people look into or analyze whether this payment is just purely for professional fee, or this had included for site supervision or any reimbursable? So or this one is just purely professional fee.
This one is general, not mentioning in detail, in specific, any payment that is submitted to the client. So this is
It's
the
basically at the
underpayment.
end of the day, the sum that you receive finally from the client, whether there is a difference from the one that you're actually putting it in the consultancy agreement.
Yeah, I understand, but I mean, it will be also very helpful in a way, because sometimes if you have a reimbursement, this then a client may decline that,
Oh,
client may have,
see.
different certification on that, so they may have, because of that, then that's where the underpayments are. So if let's say this is just fee, professional fee alone, then it's a very straight cut lah, you know. I just want to know whether you have that data, but we have not been analyzed. So this is just my question. So try to understand more on when you say payment. So that payment is inclusive of the professional fee, the reimbursable item, plus the site supervision, is it?
Yeah.
So
We did
yeah,
not delve into
this
the details lah. Yeah.
okay, all right,
The
okay, all
yeah,
right. No,
this is the
no
final
problem.
sum.
I just want to know what is the data presented. Just want to know, just to
Okay.
clarify. Okay, you can proceed. Thank you.
Okay,
Fine,
thank you.
proceed, yeah.
Okay. So this is the top three causes of the payment issues for the late payment, underpayment, and non-payment. As we can see here, it is a similar pattern. Okay, most of them, the top three causes is due to the delay in certification by the client, okay, followed by a client withholding payment due to their own cash flow problem and disagreement on valuation of the work done. So this is from the literature review, and the other section is other causes. We give a space for the consultant to write down what is the other causes that they think contribute to these payment issues. So for the late payment, we can see here the causes of this late payment is due to the pandemic COVID-19. This is mentioning the client staff is working from home, okay, and followed by the slow procedure and delay of payment approval from the client. So inefficient client, we can relate it with this pandemic COVID-19, where the staff is working from home and they cannot process the claim because all the claim is at the office. Okay, the last one is for this late payment. Other causes is due to pending finalization of the consultancy agreement. Okay, for the underpayment, what is the causes that has been mentioned by the consultant is client saving costs and also asking for discount, like the previous section. Okay, client having their own financial issues, client attitude or issues, and client refusal to pay for additional fees. Okay, this is based on the open-ended question that has been opened for the consultant to mention what is the other causes of the underpayment. So for the non-payment, other causes is due to the client attitude. Okay, and the causes is client company closed down. Maybe this one can relate to the private sectors, client company closing down. These are the impacts of the payment issues. Okay, this impact is the pattern is the same, which is all the impacts is the top three impacts is the cash flow problem by the client and cash flow problem for the consultant later on if there's a late payment, underpayment, and non-payment, and decrease in project profitability and loss of resources. Okay, other impacts that has been mentioned by the consultant is first for the late payment is causing domino effects. They cannot pay the others, and also retrenchment of staff, company closing down, cut down of company expenses, and no salaries for the partners. These are the other impacts that has been mentioned by the consultant. For the underpayment, the impact of the underpayment is the consultant having financial issues. Okay, retrenchment, also same with the late payment, the poor work quality, and also last one is affecting the relationship between the client and the consultant. for the impact of non-payment is company closed down, job loss, retrenchment, and financial issues or salary reduction. So this with retrenchment, all of these issues has been identified as the impacts of these payment issues. Okay. So what is the action taken by the consultant on these payment issues? As we can see here, most of them just sending for request for payment, okay, including sending notification to remind the client to pay for their fees, because it is the simplest thing that they can do. Okay, followed by do contract exchange for other goods and services. And the third one is on the legal action. Okay, only 19 of them mentioned that they only stop work if this payment issue arise. Okay, for the other issues, there are 4 in total actually. So here we can see on the screen is 3 of them. Okay, the first one is task execution prior to the agreement. So based on the result obtained, most of the responses highlighting that all of them ever did the task before the agreement is being signed off. So for the government, even the government sectors, they did the task before the agreement MOA, sign off the MOA, the GLC, but the highest one is on the private sector. Okay, the second one is job rejection due to this agreement with the proposed fee. Okay, for the government, they never reject the job. Even the fee, they did not agree with the fee. For the GLC, it is the same. Okay, they did not reject the job. Okay, the last one is on the private. So we can see here the pattern is they did not reject the job, even the fee, they disagree with the fees. For the client request for commission kickback, we ask the consultant have their client request for the kickback when they receive the project. So for the government, no, they're mentioning no, never, the client never request for this commission. Okay, government GLC also the same, and followed by private. But some of the private here, 48 responses mentioning that the private client is requesting the commission when they have been awarded for the project. This is for the other issues for other payments under the Part C of Scale of Fees BEM for reimbursable and the supervision. Okay, timely, we ask them on the timely payment for these items. This is only applicable for government and GLC project where they follow the scale of fees by BEM. Okay, as we can see here, from the result, still it is the same like the professional fees above. Okay, for this section, only for the other payments under the Part C. Okay, for government project still not paying them on time for this other payment, and the GLC also the same, not paying them on time. So what is the average duration for the client to discharge the payment is 4 to 6 months for the client to discharge this other payment under this Part C of the scale of fees. This is the summary on what I'm presenting just now. For the client adherence to scale of fees, can say that majority of the private sectors and more than half of the GLC did not comply with the BM scale of fees. Okay, this was due to they have their own scale or standard use in this consultancy agreement. Okay, for the discounted fees issues, it is becoming quite common for the private sector and GLC sector, even though they are following the scale of fees. Okay, it can be seen that this scenario shows the desperateness of the consulting engineer to secure any jobs that come in their way, regardless how much they have been paid, as long as it can generate income, even the consultancy fee is been discounted, but still they are okay with it. Okay, another reason on why consultant always accept discount requested by the GLC or government, because they are worried of being blacklisted and also afraid of losing the opportunities to get the job from the government and GLC in the future. For the client adherence to stages of payment in the BM scale of fees. Okay, this is applicable for government and GLC client only. Most of consultants who work with this government and GLC are currently experiencing a situation where their respective client failed to pay them based on the schedule because their client using their own payment schedule. I can say stages of payment, their own stages of payment in the consultancy agreement. So the payment issues, okay, we can see that these payment issues such as the late payment, underpayment, and non-payment are serious concern among the consultant in the Malaysia's construction industry with the causes and impacts that have been described above. And the second one is most private projects are prone to payment issues. All of them actually, these three payment issues. Okay, however, it's worth mentioning that the government and GLC projects also contributed to these payment issues in the industry, especially payment delays and underpayment. This is on the action taken by the consultant for these payment issues. What they normally do is sending a payment request or notification to the client because this action is the easiest way to do compared to the legal action just now, which can be lengthy and complicated to execute. The next one is task execution prior to the agreement. Most of the consultant did execute the task before signing any agreement with the client. This issue is crucial with the GLC and private client compared to government, as the most clients have instructed the consultant to perform the work before the formal agreement is achieved. Okay, this is due to the project agency tight deadline for the completion and client intentionally delaying the agreement. For the job rejection due to disagreement of the proposed fee, okay, most of the consultant did not turn down the job. Okay, they just accepting the job regardless whether the proposed fee are low or not profitable, or even has been discounted fees, but still they are accepting the job. This was due to the poor job markets right now and the lack of available project opportunities in the industry. Client request for commission. Another issues is the client request for commission. Okay, these issues, which is client request for the commission or kickback, are not really a main issues among the consultant. Moving to the next section is the satisfaction level and improvement required. Okay, so there are 6 questions in total regarding the satisfaction of the consultant on the current payment practices. The first one, we ask them on the satisfaction level with the current scale of fees by the board by BEM, and based on this RI is a relative important index. This is the classification. So we did a Likert scale question here. So you can see here for the first question, most of them are not satisfied but have to accept the current practices on this scale of fees. Okay. The second question is we ask them on the satisfaction level with the current practices of establishing consultant fees. The result is the same. They are not satisfied but have to accept what the client offer. Okay, satisfaction level with the final fees received from the client. This result is neutral. They are okay in between of them, okay and not okay. Okay, satisfaction level with the stages of payment in the consultancy agreement, where the classification is neutral. Okay, classification level with the time taken for the client to release the payment, where this contribute to the payment issues just now. So they are not satisfied actually, but have to accept the time taken for the client to release the payment. Okay, and the last one is satisfaction level of the client compliance toward the scale of fees. The result is they are not satisfied, but have to accept what client offer. They just have to follow it. Then we ask the consultant, do you think at current payment practice require improvement? So 155 responses said yes, it is the current practice require improvement. So what can the industrial stakeholder do? So these are the suggestion has been put up by the client and by the consultant. The first one is most the, the first one is to revise and improve the current scale of fees. Okay, followed by compulsory enforcement of scale of fees, okay, and improve client payment procedures. These are the top three improvement that has been suggested by the consultant. And the first ranking is to revise and improve the scale of fees. Okay, so the discussion for this section, let's say, is the most of the consultant do not fail, sorry, typo here, fail not satisfied, but have to accept the current payment practice in the industry. Okay, it is proposed that the current scale of fees to be revised and improved to meet the current demand in the construction industry. So this is the discussion we can conclude from the study for this section D. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Faiz. Thank you so much. Well done.
Okay.
And yes, now we are actually open for discussion, and this is the results that we have obtained from 174 in total. And I find the result very very interesting. And I mean, obviously, I'm sure a lot of you do know the problem and do see the problem, and and also know that this is common things, but then from this particular study, I think we are actually formalizing what everybody is feeling and thinking, especially from the ECP perspective about payment and payment issues in the Sarawak construction industry. Yes, I mean, some of you may feel like, oh, I know all of this anyway, but then know all of this and having data to back it up is two different things. So what we are doing now is we do have data to back up our claims in that sense. Yep. So I hope that I mean, there's some bit of discussion that I will also work out with guys later on how to write some of the discussion better. But if you do have anything that you feel like you need to contribute to the report, I mean, now is a good time to bring it up, and then we can actually consider it. Or we have to consider also, we cannot say that whatever you say, we put it in now, because that is our professionalism also, so we will consider it and see if it's appropriate. If it's appropriate, then we'll also put it into the final report to the person, I mean, the group that actually asked us to carry out this particular study. Okay. So William, starting from you, do you have anything that you want to comment on?
There's few things that I like to talk about. The first thing is there a final conclusion being met yet? Maybe the final conclusion had to be quite impactful lah. For example, are we suffering now? Something like that, quite impactful lah, huh? This is what I think. There's conclusion made for every section, but there's no final conclusion made for all the survey works. That's one thing. And the second thing is okay. The way we refresh that whether the client to adherence the scale of fee, I'm not too sure, might not be appropriate. I tell you what I understand now. Scale of fee to be followed or to be held by engineer, not clients. If you read the scale of fee documents, BEM is regulate engineer, BEM do not regulate clients. you listen carefully,
Okay.
BM is to regulate engineer, so the engineer have to follow scale of fee. Even though the client give you a discount fee or not following scale of fee, they are not wrong. So probably the way you phrase it in the report that client to adherence, I'm not too sure whether the adherent word is correct or not. It should be like
Agree.
the engineer to actually to follow something like that.
Okay, we'll take note of that. So maybe
Yeah.
we'll change the word to engineers is to adhere to the scale of fees, but client will agree or not agree to it lah.
Yes. Yes, they'll be more impactful and in the correct manner to refresh it, something like that. Okay, can I say something?
Go ahead. We are writing it down also, yeah.
Okay, good. Recently I was you can see my screen here, right? Recently I was elected by the Board of Engineer Malaysia as a member in the working group for the scale of fee. So this is my proposal amendment to the draft of scale of fee and frequent asked questions. So it's quite the same conclusion that you met and I met in this one. So in the last sentence I said that it's crucial for BM to look into the compliances of the scale of fee matters lah. The compliances is to the PPC lah, the engineers lah. So therefore, it is strongly recommend that BM to set up some sort of monitoring system or supervising the enforcing system is to strengthen the compliance of scale of fee by the PPC. We all know that the scale of fee was enacted to protect the interest of the public lah. But I can see the lacking on the BM. They want us to follow, but there is no monitoring system.
Yes.
So but I encounter difficulty of all these things because once you come up with this statement, the PE people will ask you to come up with a proposal, how we're going to set out all this and that lah. So I can release a little bit on my conclusion to the BM, my proposal to them, and there's a suggestion in the survey saying that to revise the scale of fee, yes, the BM is revising the scale of fee and it's much higher than we expected lah. But it'll be one fee. This is what I can tell you at the moment. Back to you, Dr. Ting.
Okay. Yes. So yeah, that is some of what we can see from your proposed amendments here. I mean, that will actually help us to make the conclusion as well lah. We will take note of that, and from our side, from our result, we will also suggest, something like that. We haven't actually finalized the conclusion yet because we do want to make sure that the discussion bit was actually done first, and then we'll get the final conclusion. But obviously, we won't just send you the report lah. We will later on also maybe send you all the first draft. Then you can take a look, and if there's anything you want us to improve on or amend, then we can give you one round of amendments lah, in that sense lah. Yeah.
Further to that, I can tell you one scenario. I asked them in the meeting, during the meeting, how can a person submit a complaint that if a PPC do not follow scale of fee? At the moment, there is no way.
Okay.
There is no way. BM will not entertain any whistleblower unless you have an evidence. There's no way we can get the evidence from whoever not following the scale of fee. That evidence is an appointment letter, which is confidential. So BM is, when I ask this question, BM is putting back to me lah. Maybe you can propose lah how the PPC can submit complaint when another PPC do not follow scale of fee. So there is a lot lacking in these compliances lah. Just to let you guys know. Thank you.
And we also basically what we can say is from the research that we have carried out on the survey work and all the data is all the consultants do know about the scale of fees, okay, and that is very clear, and that one is no problem. So there's no need for re-education or anything like that on that sense. And the other portion there, of course, is the payment issues, which there is a few that we are looking at. Number one is the actual scale of fees, and then there is the stages that we have to look at as well. and then also the timely payment. That timely underpayment and also the non-payment is something that I think we should really have some impactful conclusion on. And then, of course, the signing of doing the work prior to agreement signing, that is another issue that we really would like to highlight as well in our report later on. And I think the satisfaction level is basically the consultant. The general feeling of the whole survey is the consultant knows the problem and yet they can't do anything about it. That, I mean, their hands and feet are all tied down kind of feel. So we hope that this report can actually create some awareness and also to make some people who are actually in position to actually change something to be aware of the plight, like in the sense of the consultant. So that will definitely be this will probably be the line of conclusion that we will be making from this particular report. Yeah.
Yep.
Can I just say something first?
Sure, no problem.
Now coming back to now the whistleblower, I think within what you can do is you can get BEM you can tell BEM that for all the government and GLC project, any consultant what I'm trying to say is for all the consultant, I'm talking about CNS and MAE or whether you have a C or S, whenever there is a government project appointed to you, whether it's a government link or a federal or state project, okay, BEM just can do as very simple thing. Do a simple form. Anytime you get a project, what are the costs, what are the fee, what is the percentage, you have to submit to BEM Then BEM have to all data to see themselves whether the government and GLC is following it. We don't have to do a whistleblower. Anytime you make BEM as a mandatory, to all the engineers, when you get a project, you have to submit this simple form. So they can monitor immediately. BEM can collect this data and monitor, and this is a confidential to them. Then you can ask them in the board every half year they can do a report of it based on the data collected. Very simple. No need to do whistleblower. Okay. For me, I have a couple of few of input for me. First of all, I think the data we have collected, just to confirm, this is only within the ECP in Sarawak, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Now, when you do the final report, I don't think you can capture the word to say Malaysia industry, You don't only talking about Sarawak, all right? So the word choose to do the final report, I think have to be a bit careful. We are not representing the whole Malaysia consulting industry. I think the survey was done just to reflect the engineering practice consultant in Sarawak. This is how we are getting. This is how we've been treated. Okay. All right. So we want to get this data. And I think it will be if your hand in hand have enough data for us. I believe we do this survey at the end of the day. We like to get this data out to see some people in the state, okay, to highlight this in the BEM. And even our ASEAN Council like to brought this method out as well.
Yep.
So I think it's also there's helping us also Dr. Ting is just now I mentioned whether we can split that into the state and federal project, then our data is more accurate, I mean, you have pointed out one thing good is state in the appointment, there's no talking about 30 days payment. Okay, that is one thing that we can be highlighted. So when we come to payment, let's say, hey, how many projects are you referring to? What is the data? So if we can have a little more data on this, let's say this is, a state level and a federal level, then he reflect something lah. I mean, just for Sarawak side, for the data we collected lah, in percentage, I think that will be a very good indicator as well. When we brought out this discussion later on with the statistic in hand. Thank you.
And thank you, IR Wong. Yes, yes, we do notice this is a good input. I mean, we also realize that for timely payment, like whether they pay on time and the late payment, yes, we do split into like professional fees and the others, you see. So, but unfortunately for the underpayment, we were looking at it overall. And also the government sector, so we are also looking at it overall. for this particular study, I think we cannot collect any more data because collecting more data means that, we have to recreate the whole sheet again and then go and collect from the same people who fill up the form. That one, I think we cannot adjust that anymore. But what we can do is for the
That is
future,
not issue. I think
yeah,
that is not a problem. I think what data does at this moment what you have collected, for underpayments, no payment, this not a problem.
yeah.
But immediately is when we present this data, let's say we will see some top guy in the state lah, huh? Oh, you give me this. You refer to the state or you refer to federal project or you go and jumbo. So I just want to know in the data that you people has, the one who done the analysis, is it able to split the two? I mean, for the let's say the non-payment for a state and federal project. That's my question. Is it able to or cannot?
We do have twice. Remember our data, we did ask whether they're involved in state and federal project, right?
Not in
Okay.
the first section, Doctor, because I think it's maybe tidak dapat dibuat
Combination.
sebab we don't have that how many involved in state or federal, that kind of data. So we
We do
cannot.
not,
Okay.
yeah, correct. So we do not have
Okay.
the numbers for those that is involved exactly in,
Correct.
when we ask government, we did not split into state and government, state and federal. That's
Okay.
except for that
Okay.
one. But
Okay.
what we can do
So,
is,
it means that William later, if we would want to present this data, I mean to the state level, we only can talk about common issue lor. Common issue that data being summarized, things like a later payment period, all these sort of issues. Then we were not able to specific. Maybe can zoom in to whether this is uh, the tool to separate whether it's a state and federal. We only can do a common data and present, and then maybe some of the feedback. I think for the survey, some of them I think is straightforward lah, pinpoint to the states. I think some of the, I mean but some of them we may have to use a common data to present. That's I think the best we can do. I think, and also the data they have been collected and analyzed. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. That's all for me. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
thank you, thank you, Iowan. But then we will also from the university side, maybe for future, like maybe in the next year or so, we can actually try to look into some, this state and federal thing. Like we can zoom into the same kind of questionnaire, but more into the government sectors. But that result will have to wait for a while. At the moment, yes, this is a general, between GLC, private, and government. So government encompass both the state and also the state and also federal. So yeah, we will definitely take this into account and try to do another study to zero in into government sectors. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, this is a good idea for a next project that we can actually embark onto with our students. Maybe our
Yeah, never know, Dr. Ting. Well, after this one, if it's a good outcome, and then we have a very good discussion with the state and federal side, you never know, I mean, maybe 2 years from now, we can do another round of survey and see how there's any improvement. To do this mata, and then to check back on how ministry have been improved the efficiency of work and everything. And that could be a very good indicator as well, I think, for you people to publish this sort of data. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
we will definitely, from the university point of view, if you need our help, especially when it comes to government agency later on, when you want to present this to some people, you need our help, you do let us know. Yeah, we will definitely be helpful in trying to create, help to create a new policy for the industry.
Yeah, thank you. I agree with your this one. Another point that I can think of is we do not know how many consultants have reply on this kind of survey because everyone is based on individuals lah. But we come back to think of IR1 question and my question is out of 174 if you most of 60 or 70% are directors, no? So maybe 100 is directors. So out of 174, 100 director, I don't think one company get 100 director lah. Let's say one company get 4 director, easily you can get 20 or 30 or 40 average kind of consultants which can actually representing the industry. This is my one question. Another question is whether the effect is on the federal or state job. It's the same scenario here. We have 100 of us respondent. We believe that definitely there are some portion is for state. Definitely there are some portion for the federal. We do not know the percentage lah. It just that maybe next time we can improve on this one. And then I do believe that it could be 20% stat. Let's say even it's 20% stat, sometimes it cannot be a consultant having this problem and only this consultant having this problem. When the problem occurred, normally it's occurred to everybody lah. This is my input at the moment. Anything from Karen's or Linus or our Tom here? We'd like to hear from you.
Tom here.
Yeah, Tom, hi, come.
Okay. I was pondering about the survey on kickbacks. What was how did it come up as a survey questionnaire question?
The preparation of the survey questionnaire, is it?
Yeah, the kickback or the issue on kickbacks.
Okay, that one was just we actually put that down when we actually look into, because when we come up with the survey form, okay, we don't just simply ask questions, you see. So there is a flow that we usually would follow, and then we will look into, like, we actually have about half a year, 3 to half a year of literature review, you see. So in this literature review, it's a very academic kind of exercise. So in this literature review, we will actually review papers, journals, and also readings from different places, different parts of the world, maybe even in Egypt, Indonesia, Philippines, and all that kind of stuff. So then when we compile them together, this is where we are splitting them into different categories. We want to ask whether, you see, we were also doing another project for contractors, you see. So this thing in the contractor one, I think will be very obvious. There will probably be results that is going to be quite more, impactful for them than ECP lah. But then we actually end up just putting it down for ECP just to get a feel if ECP also may be having this problem as well,
Okay.
It is not a big issue.
Yeah, I concur with your views on that from the perspective of a professional surveyor carrying out this exercise. But for the purpose of dissemination of this particular information, I would think it is good for ECPs to know, but it is no good for ECP to expose this point to especially our clients, especially I think government and government-linked companies.
And
So
you want us to take it out from the report?
I'm not saying that we should take it out. That's why I asked why we did that, and I agree to your point, your clarification on that. But I still feel that if in terms of presenting it to our client, for example, right, this item on kickback may not be appropriate for the consumption. But for the ECPs, I would say yes, it's good to know. that there are people who still have to give kickbacks,
Okay.
right?
No, no worries. We will do a full
I'm not
report.
disputing the
No, no, no,
issue.
no.
The issue
Yeah,
is
we
real.
understand.
Yeah.
But when you do your presentation to the relevant authority, we can you
Yeah.
can actually omit it lah. I mean that is
What,
not a problem.
yeah, word of caution is that you may have to omit this part
Sure.
depending on who you're presenting it to.
Can. For
Okay.
for the university side, we probably would not present it in any of the papers, like if this is a work of caution from you all, then but mainly the result, with the payment issues, the payment condition and awareness, these are something that we probably be converting into some form of write-up or some form of publication in journals and all that, which of course will actually give acknowledgement to the person, the group who sponsored the research lah, and also with your permission as well, because before we can publish anything, we need to sign a copyright form, you see, and this copyright form, this is a project that is, we are asked to do, so you all are the client lah, in that sense. We definitely need to show you the copyright transfer form. So if there's anything that you all don't agree to publish or anything that you don't want us to publish, you can definitely, we will definitely have to ask your permission at the end of the day lah, huh?
Yep.
But the report later on, you present it to your group of ECP or ACEM or to BEM. That one inside there,
Yeah.
you can omit something, but of course you cannot change the numbers. That's all I can say lah, because not
I think
everything is relevant to everybody. If you talk to
presenting
government, you
to
probably don't want to know about the private sectors anyway. You see, so you probably have to omit everything that comes in the private sectors lah. Yeah.
presenting to all ECPs, I will see the whole thing has to be presented
Yeah.
for better or worse. But thereafter, presenting it to our interested parties, which is our clients or government-linked companies, I think the issue of kickback have to be taken out, no matter what, with due respect, because it's bad business for us to point that to them, which should not have happened, because we all sign integrity pact nowadays. Yeah.
No problem. The result is yours
Yeah.
to be used lah, in that sense. And we will definitely take note of the word Sarawak as well. I did not see that as well. In the last few slides, we mentioned Malaysia, and that should not be the case lah. We do have a few respondents from Sabah, actually, but then that is not representative enough for the whole Malaysia.
Also one or two from West Malaysia lah, but it's not it's not representing the West Malaysia, but mostly Sarawak lah.
Yeah, there are probably Sarawakian engineers working in, West Malaysia or in Johor and also in Sabah. That one very, very small portion, so it's not we cannot be counted. So we will take note of the word Malaysia. Faisal, you take note, huh?
Very good.
Okay.
Very good, Tom. I agree with your this one. Anything from Kieran's or Linus?
No, not for me. But at William now,
Yes.
there is a clause where the consultants are being charged LED kan.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, if client did not pay according to the stages, right? Is there any implication to that? When we as consultant we don't meet the certain deliverables, we are charged LED.
In actual fact, for your information, if you do JKR job, they do have a term and condition for payment about 42 days. There's one
William,
Yes.
I'm not talking about that terms. I'm talking about
Stages.
like there are few stages of the payment, right? After
Yes.
preliminary design, there is a 10%, after whatever 20%, but all this while, as far as we are concerned, We are only paid maybe 70 to 80% when the contractor is awarded the project, you know. So that means not being paid according to the stages, the schedule of payment that is being spelled out in the Board of Engineer Malaysia punya tu lah. Okay, that's one. There are also many cases where even the project starts, we are CTK also is not being confirmed, you know. So in that sense, you know, is it? I mean, how do we go about it? Because like, if we don't do the deliverable, then they will charge us LAD. How about on their side? What can we
Yep.
do about it?
You are right. This is the second stage beside the scale of fees. If I'm not wrong, BM is looking at the contractual issue lah. The contractual issue between the engineer and the clients in terms of stages of payments. And then we have the stages of payment table in our documents. And then it's quite confusing sometimes. And these are the two questions that I put up to them. So hopefully they can come up with the frequent asked questions to clear some of the doubt from the engineers. I take your point, IR Linus, on the...
Okay, Engineer William. I mean, for consultant to aware of it is one thing lah. I think the client should be educated too.
Yep, you're right.
On their obligation because I mean, BM is organizing roadshow for the engineers but not the client because there are obligation for the client like in one of our project, right? Now it's already construction. I think it's already 6-7 months already. CTK meeting also not yet, you know.
Understand.
So in the stages there that we are supposed to be paid, you know, after detailed engineering design certain percent, you know, when it's tender test certain percent, but then it's not being
Practice.
not being the one the client did not the one it lah honor it lah, you know. So when the client did not honor it, what can the board of engineer do to the client? Or what can we do to the client?
The board will not do anything to the client at the moment. What we can do is there's always a CPA X. This is what the BM, one of the engineer told me. If the client do not compliance with the agreements, we always go for CPA. But the current problem is we do not have the MOA signed sometimes up to construction stage. This is one of the bigger problems.
Yeah, we are facing that in one of our projects.
I think Linus, I think the client you know these people JKR, this sort of what to call this they I believe they are more organized team than our private project. You have architect taker architect, you have CNS taker architect, you have project manager, you have QS. I don't believe they do not know It's just to say that again the efficiencies and the way they execute the job sometimes the balik one. You know, so if we can present this data and go top to the top levels or discuss this matter, I believe hopefully that can be improved you know. This can be improved I mean, again, if there's a new staff, whatever it is, I mean, JKR should in-house do this sort of training. I believe sometimes, you know, in-house training by JKR also is very lacking Okay, it's a very lacking. Like I think here I brought the issue these IOW things as you know later we wrote a letter to JKR and then Stephanie on sideline he personally he said what is happening then I talk like this oh okay I understand your question already okay let me check we come back to you see. So you cannot go away. Oftentimes, this all the government agency got so many little Napoleon, like our famous Tom Jong say, little Napoleon. So yeah, but we want to share the data to say that there's some efficiency need to be improved the way they handle the contract they should be better than us. You got QS, all them to against one consulting firm only. Yeah.
Let me tell you what is my next step just between among us I always want to do things for you for everybody. We know that JKR director will be changed for Sarawak among ourselves,
How do
So,
you know?
It's been rumors lah. Okay, we hope for the new JKR director, and then we can go and talk to him lah. We have to go from top to down. It's no point from the lower levels. So I find out that it could be wrong the CNS side who handling the payments, it could be 1 or 2% only, whereby they have thousands of projects. That's why our MOA sometimes cannot be signed, or there's a lot of issue on our invoices, our CTK, all this and that. It's very lacking and very inefficient that they reply to us. So my next action will be, I hope that we can see the next JKR directors. Thank you.
William, I thought he was extended,
Not that I know.
renewed more already, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it?
Yeah, another 1 more year.
Is it?
Another 1 more year, yes.
That
That's my
was
what
the
what
Raimi, is
I
it?
that's what I heard lah, but I may be wrong.
Ye-
This news, the one that you said, I think around June it was correct lah, but I think July, I mean now November, maybe it's already renewed. I think so.
I think your mail is quite correct because your brother inside there, right?
No, he didn't. I did not get from him because
Oh.
he this thing he cannot reveal to me lah.
Okay.
But I hear from other people lah.
Never mind.
Other people, so I'm not sure.
Anything from Karen's here?
Yeah, good afternoon, William. You haven't heard from me, so you are not going to call off the meeting, is it?
Yes.
Presentation. Okay, it's a good presentation and a good first step to address the issue. Thanks Dr. Ting and colleagues from UNIMAS.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that after we've met the other time in the office, 2 years back, with ACEM, and now we have finally got some collaboration with ACEM already with our faculty. This is the first step, definitely.
Yeah.
With these ideas that is being presented, I think it's more of a trigger. I mean, like whatever we found out here should be treated like a trigger, trigger for the next betterment kind of thing. What we found out is not really, there's no solution to a lot of things, but we hope that, from there we can find some solution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clarence.
Yeah.
Any feedback from you?
Okay. I know doing survey and collecting data here in Malaysia or Sarawak is always difficult. People complain a lot.
Yeah.
But when you want to ask them to even anonymously to do survey, people also don't want or respond. But anyway, it's a good first step. But if to further dive into these issues and all that, perhaps more detailed collection of data for the next project or whatever by UNIMAS undergraduate students, OP. What is the duration of the period of data to be collected? Have to be stated whether for project within the last 5 years or the last 10 years. This was not in the last survey. Basically, the reason why I say that is I might have 100 projects which stretch back to the last 10 years, 20 years, and maybe 1 or 2 projects there having problems. So, but based on the questionnaire in the data, I will just use this 1 or 2 projects to air my grievances and all that, which is not representative of the 98 project that I have no problem. So we need to have a duration that only look at the project in the last 5 years or the last 10 years. So that is one suggestion. so that it's more reflective of the current state of affairs.
Yes.
So number 2 is within this period, how many projects that they are looking at for this data collections. Maybe for the last 5 years, I may have 20 projects. But if it is 10 years, I may have 100 projects when time was good. So how many projects are actually being considered? For the smaller ECP, they may have only, for the last 5 years, they may have only 10 projects. So they may have 1 government project and 9 private projects. So we have to have the data, how many projects they are talking about, what is the percentage of the government project or GLC project and private project that is affected in the data. So we need to know the percentage of the project affected. As I said earlier, I may have 100 projects, but 1 or 2 projects we may have problem with non-collections. Or I may have just 1 or 2 projects where the client does not pay. But in the survey, the survey only asked me, do you experience any non-collections, non-payment, or delay in payment? But it will be more reflective that how many projects are affected or percentage of projects are affected due to non-payment or due to delay or severe discount, things like that. So that is point number 2. The number of projects are being surveyed or when they respond. So we don't want to have misrepresentations that, yes, for the big firm, they have 100 projects, but just because of 1-2 projects, they put all the base their response on that 1-2 project. So 98% is good, but 1-2 project they have problem and they make a big noise, and then we go to the government and or whatever begin to say that, look, we have so many ECP having this problem, but in reality, the percentage of the project affected may be just 1-2%. So that is an important part of the survey interpretations, because a survey result must give as accurate as possible a representation rather than what if we receive rubbish, we chung up rubbish, you see. So out of 100%, only 2% of the project affected, and we try to make it as if that is a big problem in the industry. 100% of the project are suffering the same consequences, whereas towards the end is only 2%. And if the affected stakeholder like government and all that, they start looking, due to this report, they ask their QA session and to look at all the project and say, okay, how many projects are affected and have this problem? They will come up with, out of 100 projects, we may have 1 or 2 having this problem, but there may be reason behind that. So that they will come back and say, hey, your survey, your statistics say you have 98% having this problem. Based on our record and our internal data, only 2% have this problem, but you did not investigate what is the reason, because these consultants are failing in their duties to deliver. That's why they have this problem of non-payment or delayed payment. So that is my second comment. The third comment is the contract law. As a consultant or contractor, we cannot stop work due to non-payment. That is the one of the very major issue in contract law. So the stakeholder, the owner or the employer can delay your payment or indefinitely or not paying you, but as a contractor or consultant, you cannot stop work, because if you stop work, you default the contract. You are the guilty party. So unless in the contract law, our contract law and all that, there is a strong clause or in the law that if there is non-payment, contractor or consultant can stop work until payment is made, or whatever problem has been resolved. So without that being in place at the moment, as IR William has said, the only recourse that we have is to go use the CPA to go and demand the claim. But how many times can you do it? There are projects where every payment claim the contractor submit, they have to go to CPA and I said we have not been paid. So as consultant, if this is if you are going to do that, you can expect that this will be your last job. And if the word spread out, this consultant every time he submit a claim, he use the CPA to claim for the fees. Very soon, you have no job. Words can go around because our community is still quite small. If you can do that once, you can be sure that every government agency outside there, like JKR, they will hear about this ECP. Be careful when you engage them, or any government agency, or any private clients, developers, and all that contractors. So we are being tied down in this respect due to our culture and tradition here. We are just too complacent that whatever comes, we accept, and we don't want to make noises or give difficulties because all the eyes will be on us. So that is one of our cultural dilemma that we are facing. We are just being too complacent. So those are my 3 comments and observation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, IR Clemens. You have very, very good points. Yes. This survey was done initially without the engagement of ACN Sarawak branch. Maybe that next time we can get the ACN Sarawak branch. If there is a chance again, everybody input is very important. So in the beginning, it's only my input. Maybe I do not look into a lot of things that to be in the survey. So anyway, it kicked off already. So something is there. It might not be very conclusive, but it kicked off. There's some alarm there. Hopefully, it can trigger, like Dr. Ting said, it can trigger the markets, and hopefully there's something going on. The next step. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Dr. Ting. Anything from your side?
Actually, all the points here are actually very good. We really appreciate it. I mean, as the academic, we are always looking to further improve our studies. Well, see, and when we embark onto this particular survey, I remember also that we do not want to be too. First of all, if we include everything you all say here, into this survey, I think this survey nobody will fill up. Also, like what Clarence said, it will be too long. Okay. So our initial thought is, especially with the government one, we were also trying to be very careful, in terms of what we are asking and all that, you see. And that is why our survey may kind of look general in that sense, and some of it will just lump under like government, and like we also miss out on the underpayment bit, whereby we can actually look into the different sectors, which one is being underpaid and all that. And of course, the project numbers is something that IR Clarence actually brought up. I think that was a good one. But what I'm trying to say that is this is the first time, you see, and then I believe that the overall gauge that we get from the survey is not conclusive. It's actually conclusive. it's conclusive in many ways, you see. There is problem, there is issues with underpayment, there is issues with delay payment, there is issues with there is issue with what we call this signing doing work before signing contract, you know. There is issue that the contract we can see that the consultants are actually quite tied down, and there are some of them are being complacent, some of them are like no choice, you know. So these are all a very good trigger to indicate to the authority, BEM, regulatory body, the ECP themselves, that this is the situation in the industry. So what we can do next is, instead of doing another big survey, what from our universities level, when we have, because now we are actually finishing up one more semester and our old students will be out, there will be new students coming in as well, and there will be new master students coming in and do that as well. So what we can do is, I would be very interested to actually split up the three sectors. For example, JLC, maybe JLC can go with private, so we can actually set up another two studies. One is on purely government project. And then we will collect data from all the government projects, like what, you know, JBAB, JKR, Recorder, you know, like all this, you know, like we go in detail. So now, from the feedback that we have, my thought is we go government, all out government study. So government project, federal numbers, state and the numbers and which agency and all that. If we dare to go for that, I think we will be very interested to carry this one out. And if even without your instructions, I think we will probably start to do something like that also. Okay. And private one will probably just stick to like GLC with private, maybe, you know, and put the two together to see how we can improve the private sectors as well, you see. Because private sectors do create a lot of issues as well, you know, and we cannot say that every ECP go for government sectors and forget no job also we have to take private sector's job, you know. So that is our service. We cannot say no to the private sector. So I think it will be worthwhile to actually go into detail, government alone, and private and GLC by itself. And then we can put in the years, you know, whether it's federal, whether it's state, and then we can actually go for the different scale of fees, like the reimbursable, non-reimbursable, you know, in terms of the government one, where the underpayment comes from, where the delay comes from, where the actual problems come from. Then we are trying to find out more, you see. So that will be the right approach in that sense for this sort of research project. We cannot have first time round cover everything, that's for sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Ting. You have my support for your next survey. Always can come and look for me.
Can I will get him to do more dissemination, help me to disseminate out the survey and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. This time we think deeply for a few first huh? Then okay. So anything else for anybody? Or if not, then Dr. Ting, would you like to close the meeting?
Sure. Thank you so much. So thank you so much for your attendance today. And this is a study that lasted about 9 to 8 months. Okay. Starting from the beginning of February actually. Yeah. So now we are concluding it. We will do our report to you all. Is it to ACEM or to GPU? That is something that I will have to work out with William later.
I think you can direct to ACEM and CC to me.
Excuse me.
So, yep.
Is it possible if Dr. Ting can open the video? At least we know who you are. In case we meet on the road or wherever, at least we know, oh, this is Dr. Ting, you know. Unless we are talking to the Holy Spirit.
No, sorry. Because just now we had the video on and there were presentations, so we were worried that the line is not good if everybody on the video. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
That's me. Okay.
Same goes to Tom Chong and Clarence. Why don't you on your video? At least they know you lah. Tom, having Christmas already, what Tom?
I'm not dressed.
Not dressed ka?
I'm naked.
Have haven't do your shaving yet, is it?
Somehow I still have problem. It said another application is using my camera.
Oh.
So yeah, because now the window got upgraded to 11 by itself, so I am having quite a lot of problem with all the apps. Now is that my USB, my camera, that I'm not using any other program, but somehow because I have the Teams and the Zoom and all that, every day the meeting, I think they are all trying to use the camera. So I still
Clarence
cannot
is
get it.
multitasking lah.
Correct.
No, I still cannot get the camera up.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah,
I believe I've met all of you before this.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
you don't remember. I think some of you
Yeah,
came
we
to
do,
Unite.
yeah.
Yeah.
When was that, Dr. Ting?
2019, is it?
Huh?
2019, I think, before the close down, somewhere in July or May or July, I think William brought you all to Unimas.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
London, I believe we went to ACEM office to propose something on the part of work, the site supervisor.
Oh yeah, you met me lah, Dr. Ting. I was the one who met you that day.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have
and
met
You were the one, Okay, you see, I forgot
Linus,
about
you
your
have
face
met and
already.
all that. We have also been to Unimas and then the engineering conference.
Yeah.
Quite a few. Last time we were William, we went to Unimas have meeting and all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that at least those meetings actually are bringing forward this sort of exercises that we can have together, you see. So instead of you come and then go, and then next time, 20 years later, we meet again, and then nothing happens after that, So we also need very practical kind of research, that we can do for the industry. I mean, that is where my areas are, like, you see. So in project management. So these sort of studies are important to us as well. So I'm very happy when William actually came and asked me to do this. So it's just that we didn't get. I mean, like at first, SAM wasn't involved, it was more of a initiative from so yeah. Now SAM is involved. I think we can do further studies on this definitely.
Okay, one last question to the thing. When can you submit your report to us?
We can submit a first draft to you like quite soon actually, but then we need you to read through also to see whether you think it's impactful or not. Maybe you want a bit more impact, So I would say before Christmas we should be able to get everything done.
Oh, here you are, Clement. Wow.
Yeah. I think it's the Zoom. The Zoom apps is capturing the video, so I can't see. Okay, so that's it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Maybe ask
Yeah,
Tom
thank you.
to open his video, then so that we can take the photo all together.
Yeah.
Tom,
yeah.
Tom, okay.
Okay, one,
William, you can
two.
use print screen,
You
William.
you are having the summer Christmas in Australia.
Okay, we
You
print
can do
screen.
print screen, yeah?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. Let me try one more time. Hold on. I save the first photo first. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3, smile. Done.
Okay.
William, thanks to me also, huh?
Yeah, thank you.
Can I also, just the final thing I want to ask, for ACEM side, how do you plan to use the report? Would you be able to give us some indication?
Probably my intention is like this but we have to talk with ACNSR branch. Bring it up to the ACNSR branch and ACEM first. Then if there's an opportunity, bring it up to the BEMs. Then the next group of people will be our state agency people. We have not think of who to bring to at the moment. So
Okay.
there will be two different paths. One is to the statutory body like ACEM, BEM. Another one will be the government agency. But we have not really planned how to go ahead with this. We will discuss inside our ACNSR branch meetings.
Sure, sure. The only thing is, we hope that, like you presenting it to different people is fine with us. If you need our presence and our help to explain certain things, just let us know. If we can go, we will definitely help you to explain. You know, if you want to, that's one thing. And the other thing is, presentation wise, no issue. But it's just that if you do any publication, like as in if you guys are going to publish in some magazines, or you know, like maybe publish the whole report on the website, do let us know so that we can also put it into our KPI, you know, saying that, you know, we have a publication at this place, you see. So that is something that we would like to request from you all. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe yeah, that's a good suggestion because when we embark on all these studies and all that survey, a lot of effort are put in. Maybe the ACM Secretariat may summarize and publish this in our newsletter, Surah Perunding, so that at least for UNIMAS, there is also a good record that it's been published to the ACM members throughout Malaysia on this sort of survey and findings. With the Surah Perunding is just a ACM newsletter, and the content is quite restricted, only few pages each month or whatever, electronic. So maybe the report has to be summarized to suit the format of the newsletter. Maybe William can explore that.
Yeah, actually, I unofficially contacted our chairman, our president of ACEMs, Rush. He suggested to publish in the website. So probably you can do one of the format how to publish in the website. Another one will be in the bulletins. So cannot be firm. We will let you know, Dr. Ting.
Okay, no problem, Yeah. Just let us know so that my boss don't call me and say that, you know, how come our name suddenly appears this and we never know what kind of thing it is.
Yeah, it's true. William, as IR Tom has pointed out just now, if we put it on the website and all that, certain things like kickbacks and all that has to be faced carefully. Otherwise, we may get a lot of fired missile come flying back and all that. Okay, show us the proof of what are all these kickback and which agency asking for kickback and all that. The next minute, MACC will go to UNIMAS and ask for all the data and all this survey record and all that. So we have to be quite careful with mentioning things like that.
Yeah, agree with you, Clever. I think the approach of the report, maybe there are two different type. One is for can be published one lah. The other one is it can contain everything, but that contain everything had to be careful one we use it lah. So you can go for this kind of approach.
Or maybe in our final report to you, I think just in case somebody is going to be careless, you know, when doing the editing, we may just take it out first and then put it in a separate files completely so that we don't mix the two together.
Okay, can also. There'll be separate section for that particular confidential or very sensitive survey data, something like that.
Yeah, and then we just take it out from the main report completely. Yeah.
Instead of using kickback and all that, if you can just find an some sort of wordings like unexpected expenses.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Due to some unexpected expenses that is not have been considered. So it's more vague. It's not directly taking anyone, and there is no such word as a kickback or corruption or whatever. Although we know what it means, but just use some sort of wordings that does not give them the chance to say that, hey, you mentioned there are kickback and corruption and all that, but just say there are some unexpected expenses.
We will
That's
see
all.
lah. I mean, like, because it's already been surveyed with that word, so we also cannot simply change, the meaning. And all that.
Yeah,
So,
I mean the report you can use that sort of wording to just not to use the same wordings, but it's just the wordings how you convey a message mildly.
and we will take a look, huh?
Yeah, think about that. Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right, I think that's all from us. Thank you for coming, and I'm glad that you all find it helpful. This sort of surveys, yeah, it will be something that is useful for everybody. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
See you
thank you.
guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Faiz, can you stay back for a while, Faiz?